Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is November the 22nd. We got a bunch of NBA Cup games on for today. I think it all together is, 2, 4, 6. I think it's about 8 games on for today. A lot of lines on the move. So we're going to jump right into it for today. I want to try to get through about 5. Some of these games are absolutely really difficult to handicap though. So I won't go through every single one of them. We'll go through a quick recap and then we'll get into a couple of the comments. So let's jump right into the recap. Yesterday on the show, I gave one play. It was the under between the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. And Charlotte had their best shooting game of the season. Go figures. That games ended up going to overtime last night. And Detroit, even with 2 days off, I think it was the first time Detroit had 2 days off all season. They didn't play a lick of defense. Also ended up adding Detroit money line. That was a loser. Like I said, they just decided they weren't going to play any defense. So losing day for me yesterday. Another 0-2 day. It's been 4 straight losing days on this 3 straight losing days. And I'm not off to a good start. But I can weather the storm. I've been here before. So it is what it is. We'll see if we can find some winners for today. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me and, staying locked in. If you've been around, then you've been around, and eventually we'll get really, really hot, get it all back and get some more as well. But we're at that point in the season where it's a lot of variance in the NBA. So let's go through a couple of the comments real quick and jump right into it for today. Try to be efficient with the show and with my time this morning. Let's see. What up, King Predictions? He says, let's get this money. Chris Prolific says, was holding a Raptors plus 7.5 ticket last night. So 1-0. Talked about the Raptors yesterday. And then when Mike Conley got ruled out, I liked it even more. I'm glad you cashed that Prolific. That was the only way I was looking in that game. What up, St. Patrick? Justin in here. He says, Timberwolves are trash. Towns was not a problem. We talked about the big rebounding discrepancy yesterday. That was really good money, man. Really good money. Brian says Darvin Ham team out there last night going nowhere fast, talking about the Lakers. Glad I stayed off of that game. What up, 5-star GLB Bats here? Sean in here this morning as well. He says Piston Hornets game was good, just not to me. Yeah, boy, I think the Pistons gonna have to go back on the shelf, like that team from Philadelphia. If you have that much of you had 2 days off. No Miles Bridges yesterday, and you give up damn near 130 points to the Hornets. The Hornets one of the worst offenses in the NBA, but I digress, man. Like I said, I'm a man that can keep his emotions in check. That's just really starting to frustrate the hell out of me, if I'm being honest. I've been pissed. What up, Green Bean? What up, Mark? Taylor May says, good morning, Chris and chat. Work up to Magic Moneyline and spread hit. Glad you cashed that. What up, Big Smooth? Killian here as well. He says Detroit killed us all last night. I can never get Duren right. Yeah, I can't bet on Duren either. 10.5 was just too many. I think he finished with 9 boards last night. I was looking at that. Easy say he tried to get in with the Timberwolves money line live, and that didn't even cash. They had the big look ahead spot like we talked about it, against Boston on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. What up, Malik? He says he took the day off yesterday, ready to make some money today. Justin said Pistons back being the Pistons we all know. I mean, that 3-point defense was absolutely atrocious yesterday, boy. It was bad, man. But it's no excuses. Like Keelan said, no excuses. No excuses at all. You take it in stride and you keep it moving, man. You've been sports betting long enough. You already know. Yeah, I didn't mess with that Spurs game. He says missed out on the Raptors. Almost took them first half. They won the first half. They were winning in the first half. Winning at the end of the first quarter, I think, as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. Check Jackson out, all that good stuff. Let's jump into the games for today. The first one we got up. Well, actually, let's go backwards a little bit. Let's go before we get to this game. It's a lot of these earlier games that I could really care less about, if I'm being honest with you guys. I think the first game on the board is the Nets versus the team from Philly. I don't care about it. I would only be taking the points. I'm not laying points with that team out of Philadelphia. Paul George is on the injury report. Cam Thomas will be back. Nicholas Claxton is questionable, and Dorian Finney-Smith is also questionable. The line was at 7.5. The team from Philadelphia was laying 7.5 points and haven't won a game since it feels like 2012. No way you're laying points with them. I'm not touching that game. Let's go to this one. This is another meaningless game. Boston and Washington. This line opened 15 in favor of Boston. Total was at 235. It's up to 237.5. Spread has come in on, some money come in on Boston as well. Pushed it a half a point. Boston got the Timberwolves on deck. We already talked about it. They are coming off 2 days rest. 3 straight wins after losing to Atlanta, but they only have covered one of their last 4 games of the Boston Celtics. They're coming off they covered against the Brooklyn Nets after losing to Atlanta. Haven't covered a game since. They lost our money the other day when they were playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers because Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum both missed a free throw in the last minute of the game, and then they don't get a rebound and they let Ty Jerome get a tip in. So they do, like I said, have to look ahead spot to the Minnesota Timberwolves on Sunday. Coming off that big kind of emotional win against Cleveland, but that was 2 days ago. The Wizards are just trash, though. This team, I still think I would lay it with the Celtics here. The Wizards they do have 3 days rest. They're 2-11 straight up. Only 2 wins that they got came against Atlanta. They're 3-10 against the number. They've lost 9 games in a row, all of them by 9 points or more, and they've only covered 1 game in their last 9. The only cover they got came by a half a point to the San Antonio Spurs. So I did see that Kumawale did practice yesterday. He is probably going to return in this game. That'll be a boost for Washington, but I mean, this team is still trash. Boston beat Washington the first time that they played. They beat them 122-102 back on October the 24th. They were laying 14 in that spot, and that game was in DC as well. So I could see something similar happening tonight. Boston will probably try to score. This is Cup, so Boston will probably try to run the score up if they want to. I'm not sure how much they care, but I could see Boston really playing a lot of, trying to score in this game and then not really caring as much about defense. The problem is the Washington Wizards suck on offense too. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA. The team total right now is 112. You can get an under 111.5. That's probably the way that I would play it. Boston team total is 126.5. They probably score 130. So I couldn't blame anybody for wanting to lay the points for Boston here. Take Washington Wizards team total under is 112. Like I said, they scored 102 the last time that they played. I'm not sure if Kyle Kuzma was a part of that game or not, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Kyle Kuzma has been terrible since he came back as well. They also got Brogdon now. I'm not messing with the Wizards, man. Just kind of wanted to give you guys some thoughts on this one. Anybody thinking? Let's see if I see any comments on this game. Poole over his 2.5 made threes. Mark says he'll take the Nets first half. I like that, Mark. I like that a lot, man. Drew Holiday over his 6.5 rebounds and assists. I like that look a lot. Drew Holiday could have a big game here. I'm not talking. I won't mention that team's name. I did watch Paul George podcast just because I wanted to see what was said in the whatever the case might be. I honestly think the team from Philadelphia probably care more about trying to figure out who the mole was that leaked all the information to Shams than they care about the game today. Brooklyn also won their last game. They beat the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday night, right? So they probably trying to really compete in the Cup. But a young team full of young players. They probably. I'm not laying points with the team from Philly, man. Just that's what it is with me. Mel says Celtics still pissed from the Hawks. Wizards ain't getting through. Yeah, I think team total under for the 76. I mean, for the Washington Wizards, you can get a 111.5 minus 120 on Bet365. That's the only way I'm looking to play that game. Wizards not scoring 112 points tonight. I'm actually gonna write that down. I already knew I want Boston. Let's see, Washington team total under 111.5. I don't care if they're at home. They just not. Washington is the team that cannot score. They're not going to get you 28 points per quarter. You need 28 points per quarter to get to 113 points. The Wizards are going to score 32 one quarter, and they're going to score 17 in one quarter, and that does not equal out. So that's why you like the Wizards team total under. Big Smooth says Peyton Pritchard over his points. I could see it. He could kill his team. The Wizards are bad, man. They're really, really bad. Blunt says, when are the Wizards actually going to take a season series again? Probably in 3-4 years. It's going to only get worse, man. It's only going to get worse. Brian says, what about Boston first half team total and the points possibly first quarter? Man, if their team total for the full game is 126.5, that's the highest team total that we've seen so far this season. If their team total is that high, Let's see what their first half team total is. It's probably like 65, 66. They probably projected to score 70 points in the first half. It's 65.5 minus 110 on Bet365. And that's even juiced on FanDuel. So the books are expecting Boston to score about 70 points in the first half, and I do too. We're talking about the Wizards here. All right, let's move over to a real game. And I'm not sure how real this game's gonna be either. Portland and the Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets. So Portland and Houston. Let's get to my notes here. All right, so the Portland Trailblazers coming off one day's rest. They did lose in OKC, but they did cover. They lost by 10. They were getting, I think it was 109 to 99. They were getting 12.5. The line opened 14.5. They were the right side. They've covered 4 straight games since Chauncey Billups called them soft and told them if they could sleep that night after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies by 40, then they were losers. That's what he called them. This is the first leg of back-to-back for Houston. They actually for Portland, they actually play Houston again tomorrow. One of the reasons why I don't really want to bet this game, because I want to see what happens in this one and probably bet the one tomorrow. Houston also coming off one day's rest. This team, Houston, has been good, man. Second game back home. They've covered 8 of their last 10 games. They've covered 6 straight games as well. And they've covered 3 straight games against the Portland Trailblazers. At 6.5-point favorites twice, and 14.5-point favorites. They actually got this team up out the way as well. So real quick, if I just go in, I just want to look at something real quick. If I look at Portland, because like we said, they have been covering, and I do got to go through the injury report really, really quickly. The Rockets are playing at the fastest pace in the NBA. They've actually surpassed the Chicago Bulls. Last 5 games, I think they're playing at a pace of like 105 possessions per 48 minutes, or whatever the number is. There's one more thing I wanted to look at real quick as well. Oh, injury report. I forgot to talk about the injury report. So Anthony Simons is listed as questionable. He could potentially not play. He's dealing with a right handspring. Missed the last 3 games due to an illness. And then you also got Scoot Henderson that popped up on the injury report. Excuse me. Scoot Henderson is questionable with a quad injury. Suffered the injury, and the loss on Wednesday was ruled out shortly after limping to the bench. So he potentially could not play in this game. And DeAndre Ayton he hasn't played. He's listed as doubtful. He's missed the last 4 games for this Portland Trailblazers team. So Portland eventually is not going to cover a game. Houston has been cooking. This line has moved from 9.5 when I saw it yesterday up to 12.5. So money has come in. Nobody on the injury report for the Houston Rockets. I'm not sure if Sir Thompson's going to play or not, but nobody on the injury report for the Houston Rockets. This could be a spot where Portland doesn't cover. But one thing I wanted to check real quick, I wanted to look at Portland, because Portland offensively, second worst offense in the NBA over the full season. Last 5 games, not too much better. 27th offensive rated team. They turned the ball over at the highest rate of any team in the NBA. And you could potentially be without your ball handlers. They are the 3rd best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. And that's important because the Houston Rockets are the number 1 team in limited offensive rebounds. So Detroit could really, really struggle. Pretty sure a lot of Portland points are coming off second chance putbacks. Right now, I'm looking at it. They're 6th in the league in opportunities over the last 5 games. And they're 6th in points off of misses. The Houston Rockets are number 1 in opportunity and opponent opportunities, opponent points off of putbacks, and opponent points off misses as well. So you got points per play, putback opportunities, and points per miss. Houston Rockets ranked number 1 in all 3 of those categories over the last 5 games. You just kind of hope that Portland doesn't. That Houston doesn't, take this game too lightly after coming off a really big win against the Indiana Pacers the other day. I think, depending on the injury report, I think Portland struggles to get to 106 points today. Like I said, a lot of their points come off second chance opportunities. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA, but like I said, Houston, really good rebounding team as well. They're number 1 in opponent offensive rebound chances. I'm not really worried about Portland, being able to score the ball offensively outside of just that shot right there. So I would probably look towards a team total under, if anything, in this game. That's how I'm thinking about this game. The Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets, a Portland team total under 10. Did it just drop? 105.5. 105.5 is the best number. I also see it down to 104.5 on a couple books. The Rockets defense has been really, really good, as we talked about the other day. So those are my quick thoughts on this one. Tariq says Boston first half team total. Give me the up and over 65.5. I'm not afraid. Jermaine says Boston here easy cover off non-cover. He says motto not changing. The motto not changing. I'm sorry. Motto not changing. Brian, what's up, man? Hope all is well with you. He says he took the Hawks money line. He says if they win tonight, they're 3-0 in tournament play. Glad you mentioned that. We're going to talk about that game in a second. Boston team total over for Walter. He says pick a 3-point shooter over. Yeah, it's really that simple. LJ says Rockets first half at the crib. Let's keep cashing it. I think they are 6-2 in the first half at the crib so far this season. So LJ's going with the first half here. I talked about this yesterday, Big Smooth. Just didn't play it, man. The Timberwolves are not a great rebounding team. You also just can't lay points with them right now. They keep turning the ball over. And I'll tell you guys this, just for like something to mentally note. And I've been thinking about this a lot as well. The Timberwolves, I think, have played 2 games without Mike Conley Jr. Mike Conley is like close to 36, 37 years old. He's not going to play in all of these games. It's going to be times where they kind of rest him. I remember Chris Finch saying that earlier this season. They need Mike Conley on the floor. They don't have a primary ball handler. Anthony Edwards is as great as he is. I love Ant. He's not a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's out there to score, and everybody else is just kind of standing around while he's not playmaking. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I love him to death as well. He's a really good defender. Can shoot the 3-point shot. Not a point guard. I'm not betting the Timberwolves, especially laying points with the Timberwolves without Mike Conley. That's just something to kind of keep in mind. Merrill says likes Klingon over his 2.5 blocks and steals. Brian says he's on that Rockets first half as well. Mark says he likes that Rockets first half as well. LJ says NBA Cup game 17 overs, 9 unders, including 9 and 4 to the over versus Western Conference teams. Merrill likes Fred VanVleet over his 6.5 assists here. Sengun under his points prop. A lot of looks. Shaden Sharp points in play. I'm taking the over on them, Damian says. Jabari Smith over his points plus rebounds. It's a lot y'all like here, man. Mike says the Blazers already beat the Rockets recently. Blazers beat the Rockets recently? I don't know about that, Mike. Let me double check that. I don't think I saw that when I was looking into this. Yeah, they haven't beaten them recently. The Blazers have not beaten the Rockets. Have already beaten the Rockets. No. The Rockets have actually won the last 3. They've covered all 3. I said that in the breakdown. I don't know where you got that from, Mike. Nah, hasn't happened unless you're talking about Little League. Let's see. What else y'all saying? A lot of comments coming in this one. I like Portland plus the points. M. Scissor says. Sengun triple double incoming. Okay. All right, let's move over to another one. Let's keep it moving. I like I said, I think especially if the injured guys for Portland doesn't play, like if Simons doesn't play, if Scoot Henderson doesn't play, like I think Portland really struggles to score the basketball because a lot of their points do come off offensive rebounds. So that's the way that I would play this one. The Rockets have been really good defensively, even though they've been playing at a super fast pace. So that's the way I would look at this one. Haven't pulled the trigger on that, but I'm writing it down, put it on my short list. Portland team total under. They also play at a super slow pace too. We'll see who dictates pace in this game. But I feel like Portland has been playing more under games than over games, and I probably should look that up and see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm actually right about that. I feel like they've been dictating pace a lot, but I think that's because they've been getting the offensive rebounds. Let's see. That's spelled wrong. Hold on, give me 1 second. Team equals Trailblazers and date 12-1. Oh, I got this college basketball. Let's see if I'm right. All right, so the Blazers are 9-6 to the under overall. 3 straight unders. 4 of their last 5 games have actually gone under. They've actually stayed under their team total in 4 straight games out of Portland Trail Blazers. I hadn't even looked at that. 4 straight unders. Well, I'm sorry, 4 straight opponents unders. They've actually gone up and over their total 3 in their last 4 games. They've gotten to 107. What is this team total? 106.5, 105.5. They've only gotten to 106 twice. They got to there against the Hawks, terrible defense, and against the Timberwolves, also pretty poor defense as well. So, yeah, take it for what it's worth. I do think the Rockets could potentially be the right side in this game, though. We'll see how the injury report goes. All right, let's go over to the Hawks and the Bulls game. This total, so I'm jumping ahead of myself. When this opened yesterday around 3:30 Eastern Standard Time yesterday, the game was everywhere. I just put a pick on the screen when I wrote it down in my notes yesterday. You could have got a +2.5 with the Bulls. You could have got a +1 with Atlanta. So I wrote it down as a pick. The total was opened at 240.5. So it's 4 points of movement to the over already. It's up to 244. So you get an Atlanta team coming off 1 day's rest. This is the first game back on the East Coast. Last game of a 4-game road trip for them. They played 4 of their last 5 games on the road. Not the greatest spot for Atlanta. We know that they just got smoked to the Golden State Warriors. Lost that game, I think, by I think it was 97 to 120 or something like that. On the Chicago Bulls side, 1 day of rest for them as well. First game back home after a 2-game road trip for them. They lost to the Bucks by 16. Just kind of made a push in the third quarter, but then couldn't score the ball in the fourth quarter, which we've seen from the Bulls on Wednesday. This is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Bulls. They got the Memphis Grizzlies coming into town tomorrow. So Chicago beat Atlanta back on November the 9th, so about 2 weeks ago. They beat them 125 to 113 as 2.5-point dogs. That game went under the 241.5, and it was a terrible spot for the Atlanta Hawks, if you guys remember. It was a 5th game in 7 nights for Atlanta. Chicago, they actually have been getting smoked at the power forward position, and that's the way I kind of want to play this game, man. I don't really want to touch the total. I don't want to touch the side. I do think that Atlanta is better than Chicago, but right when you think that Chicago sucks, they will surprise you. I don't like playing Chicago. I don't think I'm playing Chicago off a loss this season. I think that this is going to be one of those teams that if they get hot from 3, they can beat anybody. And if they struggle from 3, they can get smoked by anybody. That's how I kind of see the Chicago Bulls right now. So I went player prop in this game. I actually haven't even locked it in yet. But Chicago give up the 26 most points. The 26. They rank 26, in points allowed to the power forward position. I like Jalen Johnson in this spot. He's shooting 50% from the field. He came back in that game against the Golden State Warriors the other day. He did stay under his 17.5 points. But or you can get 18.5, just depending on how much juice you want in this spot. I do think all numbers will close at 18.5, but he's shooting 50% from the field over the last 10 games, 37% from the 3-point line, and he's playing about 36 minutes per game. He's actually gone up and over the 17.5 points or 18.5 points in 8 of his last 10 games. So a nice little hit rate for Jalen Williams here. That's what I like the most in this game, man. Jalen Williams either up and over his 17. Well, I like the points. I think he can score 20. He did score 20 the last time the D2 teams played earlier this season as well. I like Jalen Johnson in this matchup. I think he has a really good advantage. The Bulls, same thing. Like they really struggle against guys that can get downhill. They don't have a lot of size. Nikola Vucevic is not stopping anybody from getting to the rim. Hence, Giannis just had a 41-point game or 49, whatever Giannis had the other day. But he went up and over his points prop as well. I think Jalen Johnson puts that same amount of pressure on the rim today. That's how I'll be looking to play this one. Jalen Johnson up and over his 17.5 or 18.5 points. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. That was pretty quick. I'm like I said, I'm not too interested in the spread in this one. Let's see. Give me Houston laying the points here. They ball at the crib, young man Travel says. Couldn't talk you off. Christopher says, good morning, Chris. I feel like the Rockets have been the only team that has been good to me this season. They are consistent, man. Shout out to the Rockets. The Rockets are very consistent right now. So, yeah, I'm with you. Jeff says a classic Chauncey blow-up game. remember, like I said, they play again tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. But I know the two teams, they play again tomorrow, and the game will be in Houston again tomorrow as well. I agree with this. He says NBA has been tough to crack, especially for me, and I'm not even a parlayer. Mark says Rockets went over by 1 last game. Okay, Trae Young dimes. Big Smooth says. Did we cash Trae Young assist in this spot last time? I think we did. I think it was 11.5. He had 16 assists against Chicago last game. Let's see. Let's just look real quick. Yeah, he had 16 assists in this spot. I could not talk you off for Trae Young assists. Only had 14 points, but he had 16 assists. If you like Atlanta, you can get Trae Young double in a win. That's probably plus money somewhere. This assist price sitting at 11.5. Not something that I bet, but I will give you guys a number for Trae Young assists. Let's see if we can find a good number for Trae Young assists. I like Jalen Johnson. Trae Young too, but I like Jalen Johnson in this spot. Trae Young assists are 11.5, and you can get a plus 105 right now. So definitely shop around. Get the best number. Always want to get the best number. Trae's going up and over in 5 of his last 10 games. As far as the whole season, he's up and over 8 of 15 games, which is about 53%. He did only have 11 against the Golden State Warriors. I said only 11, like that's not a lot. But he had 19 against Sacramento. He had a 16 assist game against Chicago, like we talked about, a 13 assist game against Detroit. Last 10 games, the potential assists are there. Damn. 24 potential assists against the Warriors, 33 potential assists against the Sacramento Kings. He did only have 14 against Portland, but they played pretty slow. The Washington Wizards, he had 17. Chicago Bulls, he had 23. 30 against Detroit. So yeah, the potential should be there. Trae Young, I like the line. I like it. I think he, probably another 15, 16 assist game here. So don't let me talk you off. Mark says he'll pass. 244 is crazy. All you need is one bad quarter and you cook. So I'm staying far away from that. Much as I want to take it over in this spot, I can't do it. Big Smooth says, what about Jalen Johnson triple-double? Potentially. I think it could be worth a sprinkle. Big Smooth says, what about Capella rebounds? We were going under on Capella, but he's in a really good matchup today. I can see Capella potentially getting a double-double in this spot. Malik says Patrick Williams is out too, so I like that play. Yeah, he would be the guy that would be able to slow down Jalen Johnson. He's probably their best defender, as far as wing defender on that team. And I don't think I saw that. I know he was struggling to. I didn't know he was officially ruled out though. But yeah, Patrick Williams is ruled out. Torrey Craig is also on the injury report. He is listed as probable, and Kobe White I think is probable as well. He was dealing with a neck injury, cervical tightness is what it says. All right, let's see. Mark says I like that Jalen Johnson prop. Thanks. He's thinking he's gonna like it. I like that a lot. Does Atlanta have more cup motivation? I think so. The Bulls not going anywhere, man. Bulls not going anywhere. We got to remember Atlanta beat. Who did they beat? Somebody mentioned it in the chat. Atlanta beat Boston in the cup game. The first cup game they had, they beat Boston in. Forgot who they played last, but yeah, I think they are undefeated. I think they are undefeated right now, so they do have all the motivation. Dwayne says, Chris, against Golden State, his prop was at 9.5, so he didn't reach the 11.5, but he did hit his prop at 9.5. Okay, appreciate you for shouting that out. I mean, that makes sense that it wouldn't be at 11.5 there. Hawks money line, I think I like the Hawks in this spot as well, 5-star. I want the Hawks catching points though, not laying. The Hawks are religiously terrible laying points, but it is a revenge spot for them. It is a revenge spot. Let's move over to the next game. We got Pacers and Bucks, the game that I actually like the most. We'll go through Sacramento and Los Angeles Clippers to end things out. But let's go Pacers and Bucks. I really like this spot here. Still haven't bet it. Probably should have because the lines moved against me. But we got the Pacers and the Bucks. Line open with Milwaukee laying 4 yesterday. The smallest line I saw. It's up to 5.5 on some books. I think there are a couple 5s out there as well. And the total was at 236.5 yesterday. It's up to 237.5 on some books. So people liking the over. people liking the Bucks, it looks like, as well. But this is, like I said, 5.5, just depending on where you're shopping. We got a Pacers team that has been trash recently. 6-9 straight up on the full season. They're only 7-8 against the numbers so far. They're coming off back-to-back losses and non-covers. They've actually lost 4 of their last 5 games, and they failed to cover 4 of their last 5 spreads as well. Luckily for the Pacers, hope is not lost. They got the Washington Wizards coming up on Sunday, so they will get back on their winning track. I don't think it happens today. This is also a 4th game in 6 nights for the Pacers. On the Bucks side, this team is starting to put it together, man. 1 day's rest, 3rd of a 4-game homestand, so they haven't had to travel anywhere. They do have not a look-ahead spot, but this is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Charlotte Hornets coming into town tomorrow, and the Bucks, don't look now, they've actually won 4 of their last 5 games. They still have a losing record, but they've won 4 of their last 5 games. We look at the injury report. I know I saw Ben Shepherd, who's been starting as shooting guard for this team with Andrew Nembhard out of the lineup, and of course Nesmith won't be there either. So you got Ben Shepherd listed as questionable. He's actually missed the last 2 games for the Pacers, but he has an oblique injury. But you need your obliques, like you gotta, especially fast as the Pacers play. Like I can't imagine going out there trying to play for the Pacers with an oblique injury. And then outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. On the Bucks side, it's pretty much same injury report. Giannis is listed as probable. I kind of feel like the Bucks got this one circled, man. This is playoff revenge. If you guys remember back to last season, the Indiana Pacers did beat the injured Bucks. They were without Giannis. They were without Dame. They beat them 4-2 last season. And you know, they also got a little bit, the Bucks, this goes back to the in-season tournament where, you know, Halliburton was out there hitting his watch during the Dame time. I think the Bucks always gonna hate the Pacers. I think this is a newfound rivalry. The Pacers kind of limping into this one, man. 2 of your best defenders not playing in the game. You know, Ben Shepherd also probably not. I'm not sure if he's gonna play or not. And if he does play, I'm not sure how effective he's gonna be. The Bucks actually they're playing a little bit more defense recently, man. They actually closed the game out against Chicago on an 18-4 run in the 4th quarter 2 nights ago. That tells me that defensively they're getting better. So when you go in and look at it, the Indiana Pacers offense has been struggling. They're 25th in points scored per 100 possessions, 17th in effective field goal percentage, 27th in offensive rebounding rate, so not getting a lot of second chance opportunities, and they're 20th in free throw rate over the last 5 games. The Bucks, like I said, defensively and quietly, they've been getting a lot better. 8th in the points allowed per 100 possessions. They're 5th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 3rd in opponent free throw rate, so not sending teams to the free throw line. And they're actually the 9th best offensive rated team. I think you want to keep buying on the Bucks while they're at the crib, where the Pacers have been traveling everywhere and just really not in good form right now. So I like the Bucks in this spot. I think it's 2 ways you could play it. You could just lay the points with the Bucks, or you could take a Pacers team total under. It's actually been 10 games since the Pacers have scored 117 points. Their team total is sitting at 116.5 right now. 10 games since the Pacers have scored 117 points in regulation. 10 games since the Bucks have given up 117 points in regulation. Detroit did get them for 120, but that game went to overtime. I look at the Pacers; they're only averaging 109 points on the road in 9 games so far, and they've only cleared 117 in 1 of their last 4 games. The Bucks are playing at the 7th slowest pace over the last 5 games, so they're not running up and down the floor. They are getting into this, defensive sets. I think a lot of that, has to do with Taurean Prince, Andre Jackson as well. You got Green out there playing some really good defense. So I like the Pacers team total under. I like the Bucks on the spread. I think that they can win the game by 2 possessions. And I didn't bet it the other day. It was at 18.5, and I probably shouldn't. I think Tyrese Halliburton continues to struggle. He had 4 points the other day. We talked about the team total. If you was on the show at 18.5 on Caesars, I think they had it like minus 108. Easy winner. He finished with 4 points. He scored. He was 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from the 3-point line. He's only averaging 12.5 points on 30% shooting from the field, 30% shooting from the 3-point line over his last 5 games. And the road games have been the places where you typically want to take Tyrese Halliburton unders. So I like Tyrese Halliburton under 16.5 points. I like the Pacers team total under 16.5. I think they put, Andre Jackson on him. When Andre Jackson, you just got to keep Dame off of him. Dame can't guard anybody. But Taurean Prince is a pretty good defender. That's what I like. I like the Bucks in this spot. I like the Indiana Pacers team total under. I like Tyrese Halliburton under 16.5 points in this game. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. What up, Lightbearer? King prediction says he's putting the Bucks money line. Probably gonna parlay that with something. Bucks -6, Dame 30. DK Wallen says okay. 5-star says like the Bucks and Giannis. King prediction says Pacers team total under. Merrill says take the Pacers with the points. They always play the Bucks tough, no matter who is on the floor. They don't miss. Okay, so a little bit of pushback there. Blunt says now or never. Did the Bucks? He says did the Bucks for real? Now or never for the Bucks. Cal likes the Bucks tonight. LJ says Bucks first half 3-1 against the spread at home versus the East so far. Pacers 1-4 against the spread first half on the road versus the East. The Halliburton point range true to Chris about him playing worse on the road. Bucks should win this. I think so as well, man. Giannis triple-double over for Mike. What up, Prop? He says right on time. Giannis for 70 tonight. I don't know about that, but we'll see how that one goes, man. Hopefully the breakdown helps you guys. I like the Bucks in this spot tonight. Pacers been struggling. They still on the road. A lot of games been played on the road. Last one. Let's get over here to Sacramento and Los Angeles. We got the Clippers getting laying 3 point. The Clippers getting 3 points as home dogs. Just double check this line. Yeah, it's 3. And this line, I think this line is flipped, man. When I looked at this yesterday, initially the Clippers were laying 6.5. I promise you, I'm not making this up. And then I think the news came out that Sabonis was off the injury report and that De'Aaron Fox was off the injury report. Malik Monk is still going to be out in this game, but I think that's when the line kind of, started doing some reversing. And now you got the Clippers as 3-point dogs. This total hasn't really moved a lot. It opened 224.5. It's down to 221, which I mean, if you've been watching the Clippers play, you only want to take under. They will still be without Norman Powell, of course, no Kawhi Leonard. PJ Tucker still not with the team either. So we get a Sacramento team that's actually pretty rested now. They were playing a bunch of games before they finally lost to the Atlanta Hawks the other day, and they were very, very short-handed without the services of DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox was trying to put the team on his back out there with Kevin Huerter and Keegan Murray. So 3 days rest for the Sacramento Kings. Very well rested. This is the first road game after 4 straight home games, and they've actually failed to cover 3 straight games after Sacramento Kings. On the Clippers side of things, only 1 day's rest. This is the last game of a 5-game homestand for them. They've actually won 3 straight and covered 3 straight. They took my money against the Orlando Magic 2 nights ago. Before that, they got a very, very big win against the Golden State Warriors, the second win against the Golden State Warriors. And they actually play in Philly on Sunday. They got a game against the team that plays in Philly on Sunday, which could be, I don't know if it's too much of a look-ahead spot. We know James Harden used to play for the team in Philly. Paul George plays for the team in Philly now. So potential, maybe a little bit of a look-ahead spot, whatever the case might be. The Clippers did beat the Sacramento Kings 107 to 98 back on November the 8th in Sacramento, and that game went under the same total that this one opened at, 224.5 with ease. It was less than 200. Well, I think it was 205 points scored in that game. I like the under here. I like the under again. It's down to 221.5. I agree with the movement coming in on the under. I think that, Sacramento, the Clippers are one of the better defensive teams in the league, of course. We saw them just hold Orlando to 93 points. When I looked at Sacramento last season, this was a religiously under team when they played on the road, especially when they were road favorites or road dogs. It really didn't matter, but they were 15-9-1 to the under since the beginning of the last season on the road. And this also, I think we got to mention, this is a conference game, not a conference game. This is a divisional game. Sacramento is in that same division with the Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors. All of them play in the Pacific Division. So I like the under in this spot a little bit more than I like anything else. I think Sacramento should be able to limit this version of the Clippers offense without Norman Powell. And the Clippers won their last game with defense. I think, Sacramento having a big, rest advantage in this spot, 3 days to 1. I think they bring it on the defensive end as well. So under would be my recommendation in this spot. Probably not going to touch the spread, but I feel like the Clippers should be able to get the Kings should be able to get the job done. But I'm not fading the Clippers right now. This team is hot, and they're playing really good defense. So I like that. I do like that a lot. It should be a Clipper spot. I mean, a King spot, but I don't think I'm going to touch the spread. Let's see. What's the team total under? It's 116 and a half. 116 and a half. You can get a 115 and a half too. TC Best says take Halliburton under his points, rebounds, and assists. Big Zubac over his points and rebounds for Merrill. Brian says Norman Powell is playing. Nah, I think Norman Powell is out for, I think I saw 2 games. He's going to be out for at least 2 more games is what I think I saw. Yeah, he's already been ruled out for this game. Dealing with that sprained left hamstring is Norman Powell. Jay Steve says taking Halliburton under his points again. Smokey Steam Best says bad spot for the Clippers. Kings with multiple days rest might have to jump on them. Yeah, it's a humongous rest advantage in a conference game. I agree with that. And you got the Clippers coming off a loss as a favorite. I mean, a loss as a win as a favorite. I think that is a nice bounce back spot for Sacramento in this. Justin says I've seen a 6.5 too. He says, mad I hesitated, went to sleep and woke up. Now seeing Kings is the favorite. I was tight. Yeah, I knew I wasn't tripping. I wrote it down yesterday, about 6 o'clock. About 5 o'clock yesterday. I wrote it down. It's in my notes right here. 6.5 total was 224.5, and I like the under. I put it in the Discord yesterday that I like the under at 224.5, and we lost 4 points of value at this point, but I think we probably see it continue to trickle down. That's the way I'm liking this one. Walter says Bucks let point guards go off. So take Halliburton over his points. I'm not touching it. Holly under 16.5 for Keelan. Says he's more confident in the Nets than the Bucks. Didn't talk you off. I think they're both the right size today. On the King side, Cal says, Blunt says Kings 3-point shots is super concerning. I want to back them here. I think getting Sabonis back. I know him and DeRozan not only went through practice yesterday, they went through practice twice. The other thing we got to remember, man, I don't say this often because I try to condense the show as much as possible, even though I typically still end up with a long show. Is that when these teams are playing, second leg of a back-to-back, or they only get 1 day of rest, they don't get practice time. Like, you literally got to get on a flight the night after the game and fly to the next city. The next day you wake up, you go through shoot around. You don't go through practice. So when you get these 3 days off, you get actual practice time. And that's what Sacramento got, because last time Sacramento played was at the crib. So they got to stay in Sacramento after they lost to the Hawks. And they got 3 days of practice, right? You practice, and now you have a game. So I think Sacramento, the more I talk about it, the more I think Sacramento is the right side. The Clippers didn't have to travel anywhere. And you got a revenge factor for Sacramento in this spot as well. I think I kind of like Sacramento the more I think about it. I'll write them on the short list, Sacramento. Clippers can't beat everybody forever. Mark says Clippers tired legs. DK says Kings money line in the spread. A lot of people liking that. Hard to go against the Clippers at home. They burned me this season. Zubac over his points for sure, J-Man says. Mind you, Clippers versus Kings had the second highest scoring game ever. Yeah, that was a completely different team, Mike Job. I remember that game though. They went to like 7 overtimes also. So you got to throw that into consideration. Raphael says Lakers watched me last night. Yeah, Lakers were kind of teetering on a loss. It sounded like. All right, so let's get into a quick recap. Let's talk about the things that I'm liking from what we talked about in the show today. That Washington team total under just kind of keep calling my name, man. Under 111.5. This is not a good offense. Boston could really lock this team down. I like Portland team total under 106.5 as well. And it's crazy to play unders on cup nights, but just the way that I'm looking. I like Milwaukee minus the 5. You can get a 5. I like Tyrese Halliburton under his points prop. And it's 16.5, down from 18.5. And in this game, I like Sacramento and Clippers under 221. Can you get a 221.5? Nah, you can't get a 221. I also like Sacramento. The more we talked about it, the more I like that as well. I got to do a little bit more deep diving into that. And I haven't played any of these yet, but I'll leave them here for you guys so you can see them, things that we kind of talked about. Oh, I forgot to mention, Jalen Johnson, because I will be on Jalen Johnson. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm taking him up and over. I think it's 17.5 or 18.5 points. I will be playing that today. I haven't locked in anything yet. I was trying to get through the card, figure out what I like the most. So I'll leave all of these as red on the screen. You guys pick and choose what it is that you like, but this is everything that we talked about for today. It's a lot of games, a lot of ways to make money. The Washington Wizards team total under 111.5 against the Boston Celtics. Jalen Johnson over his 18.5 points. Portland team total under 106.5 based on the rebounding discrepancy that I think is going to happen tonight. Milwaukee minus the 5 against the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton in that same game under his 16.5 points. Sacramento minus the 2.5. Sacramento Clippers under 221. Those are the best looks on the board for myself, man. Best of luck if you guys are playing anything today. Resources, I always like to shout these out because they're helpful for you guys. Kind of handicapping the games. Check out Jackson. Referral codes for every single thing, that I use to handicap the games. If I can get a partnership to make it easier for you guys, then I do that. So you guys can, not have to pay full price for some of these resources. So check these out if you guys are interested. A lot of people signing up for Moneyball still. I hope this has been helpful because it's definitely helpful for me. Same thing with Jackson. Give me the dog. Killer Sports. Cleaning the glass down here. Eyes Jam is, of course, as well. Best of luck on all your action for today, man. Whatever it is that you're betting, I'll catch you guys early tomorrow. My son got a soccer game at 9, so I'm probably going to do the show at about 7, probably about the same time, 7:45. And I got a busy Saturday, so we'll probably go live tomorrow morning early again if you guys want to tap in for the show, man. Best of luck on all your action for today. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow, man. Enjoy your Friday. I'm out.